probably $8 in Portland. I mean, in Slovenia. Our dollar is worth more than their stuff. Like, the store stuff at the grocery store was cheaper to like buy food. US dollars were like
Lucky egg.
like $4 there or $5 there. Yeah, then those gardens. That's what.
Lucky egg.
And there's like a daily meal with bread and toast and oatmeal in the morning. Oatmeal there was like 89 cents or something for a bag of oatmeal. We have stores like that here. It's Dollar General and Dollar Tree. If you can find Dollar Tree. Dollar Trees usually are. Everything is a dollar in Dollar Tree. They have one that's basically Dollar General. They have a dollar out and a dollar would be $4, $3. Or something like a million. Dollar Tree is probably the spot to go for dollar snacks. To buy cheap food, not cheap food, but not to have food. You have to go shopping. Sometimes like when you shop in that place, it was like $50 for close to $100 for like 4 items at the grocery store. You have a chance to go work out here. I'm gonna stream. If anybody's listening, I'm streaming this. But I just have I don't have a washer and dryer at the moment to like do laundry, so I can't really sweaty that much here until maybe so I can actually wash do my laundry and stuff. Like they just take a say enough for that. They just take a today. Yeah, she just lose, but that's how they do stuff for like people like taxes and stuff like that. That's just what I say. I'm not across the board yet. Canada is a big place to go to, and I wrote that down in before. It's like Canada is so huge, it's like hard to decide which part of Canada to go to. I guess they thought I was in Canada, but it was Ohio, Ontario, instead of Ontario, Canada. So that might have been a little confused. Whereas Ohio does have an Ontario, and then Canada has an Ontario, and Canada is across the border. I heard they were like the popular place to go for wedding proposals is at the Niagara Falls, and I guess that's on the border of the U.S. and Canada, or it might be in the. I'm not sure if it's on the American side or the Canadian side for where the border is there. I had never been to Niagara Falls, but I know I said save money, but if there's a trip this year, I might be able to, that might be something that I'm interested in going to. Just Niagara Falls. At least know like 3 people. I think there were like 3 people that had proposals there, other proposals that had Niagara Falls. I had that conversation before, like, is there such thing as a proposal that's too long, or can a proposal just be short? or like does it matter to a person how long a proposal is? Is it like do they prefer short ones or do they prefer long proposals? I know each one has probably like a different, a different, like different thinking instead of how they feel like proposals should be, or how they want their proposal to be. Do you ask the parents ahead of time, or do you wait until after a proposal to ask for that? After the person, I think that's what they say. It's just like stuff. I do just like fingerprints too. Not sure if people checking headlights and stuff. That's not bad. That's what it is. That's the one that I need, but I still have that. Yeah, I know. I just think of stuff. Sometimes I write it down, or I used to write down, like on a notebook on myself, and write some different poems, and different thoughts about that kind of stuff. Like, me, I thought before, like, if I meet somebody's parents, then I get to know, like, I guess I get then. Something in my mind is, when it comes to the words, my words get missing sometimes. I try to think of like the correct word to say. So that's right. That's it. I once had a guy sleep on his couch for me. Gave me some of those, like, this, whenever I was talking to you before his room, so, so, that was like I didn't really use. I guess she looked at her as like a daughter. I'm not even sure how many people tune into the stream sometimes when I be streaming. I got a couple subscribers streaming. I got three yesterday. The streamer let me join his stream, then I want to stream on his page on my stream. I think I got some followers. And, I got more viewers than I did before that stream. And there's like a Fortnite map, so we got to like that experience of Fortnite. I feel like I had experience on those probably those little roller coasters, spinning rides, and at a carnival. I went to an Arizona. I went to a carnival there, seen a couple of people outdoors in the kitchen, like the show and the line and stuff. Then like the ride went up, there was a couple women on the ride. The ride wasn't really full, but that was the first time I ever felt like I was gonna pass out on the ride. Since probably I was like in the fourth grade or fifth grade. So the ride went up and it started to like spin and do all that crazy, all that other stuff. I never felt that way on the roller coaster before since I was like a kid and stuff. I started to like pass out, so I just held my breath and I felt good after. I felt better after. But the woman, she was like sitting right across from me on the ride in the air. You know, like I started to get winded, like started to feel that dizziness. So then I figured out and found out that if I hold my breath, that held my breath throughout the process of it, like swinging back and forth, that I was able to like not pass out. You know, and I was able to have my focus until then, until I hopped off get off of the ride. Yeah, that was like a crazy experience on the roller coaster I had. But I was probably like they had elephant ears. And they had like elephant ears there, and I got ice cream on there and just sat on the bench and some bleachers and enjoyed the elephant ears and I put on top of it because I felt like I felt like somebody was thinking that it was probably like too sweet for it. But that was like the last sweet thing I ate before I took a break. They had like a magician and everything. It was a cool thing. I'm not sure what that one just went to. That dinosaur just disappeared. Ghost life. I just have to get up, so I think it's at 5 maybe. Get more expensive. So, the guys, he's in that. He is trade. Trade. Recent. 42 maybe. Yeah, I forgot somebody birthday today. And that's just some type of birthday. They have like this ad. This different. A lot of people I notice are like in relationships and stuff now. Um, or probably just don't respond. But, let's see what happens.
Oh my
That's
god.
the reason. I thought about going to like where is it called? They have the the kangaroos like I think they
Dang
might
it,
be in
bro.
Beijing or China or
Haha,
something.
loser.
Real life and the meditation part of it. I didn't really feel like they want to face the biggest giants who are inside the next level with I guess. I'm not sure what part that is because I walked the airport in New York when I first landed back in the U.S. That was the first state we landed in, and that was like a headache for me from walking from the terminal to the gate because the gate I had to go to was on the far end downstairs to get back to Ohio. But walk from the entrance part after security checkpoint to the gate, it's like somebody was taking my head and just whirling on my head. I thought I was gonna jump from the walk in until I made it to the destination of the exit gate downstairs. I just sat there and just thinking about the moment, feeling like I just got jumped by like 100 people. And at the Parkville Center, there was a guy who had some dreads from Detroit. And said that his mom said he should have run and stuff as a kid. I'm 34, so I'm not sure what competition was when I was a kid. And then they was talking about who I was like sparring with and stuff, last year in Arizona and other states. That's why I said it's probably just all high looking. They wonder why my attention was so high against other people. Or why I didn't get into altercations with people who were girls or something like that. I put the escalation in. I felt like I was probably a little bit too more serious when it came to people fighting with you. So I just stay quiet and just wait. I guess it was like an observation. There was one time it was like a joking around type of wrestling. Then it first got kind of serious because she said that he's going to stop him. But we was like on equal ground in the wrestling ground. That's not like we were standing up face to face. I know Ohio has different rules for this. Ohio was known as a wrestling state, I thought, because I never even was into wrestling before until I got to Arizona. Because when I went to school, we didn't have a wrestling team in Tennessee. And now they have a wrestling team at the school. They have a rugby team at the school. I went to a rugby game there. They have the football field there. I think they have turf now. And like they got these all type of tablets to watch the game and drawing and stuff throughout the game to learn from different games. So the school upgraded a whole lot since I was in school in Tennessee. Since 2010, they did a whole bunch of upgrades for the football team. I think they made it to the playoffs, to the second playoffs this year. But they had a good running back where he moved the quarterback. But I think he didn't play for like the last 3 games I was there before. And for some reason, Tennessee, they said I was up there and they were by a green flag and stuff, protected by a green flag. And then, that was like 3 years ago. I guess they're still trying to talk about the green flag part of it. I was just in Arizona working with people from other countries and I got red flags where I was from. Too. I get to Ohio and they started running all red and stuff and running on a different ride and some does get pretty Ohio part of it. I was just like in a whole different state where I think they said on the news a while back that they moved to the certain parts of Arizona from like Brazil and stuff. And like in real life and that they moved there from other countries. But the Mexican guys there in Arizona who were from Mexico and Colombia and their raps. Where I was from, the neighborhood I was from, or by the country I was from. I was just friends with them and I asked if one of them could get shared tips like I did. If we both worked a real life job and made $11 an hour. And for some reason, because they took me down from $22 an hour to 11. So that's why I was trying to make sure he was getting equal payment as me. But they just wanted to make sure I got the tips
Lucky egg.
instead of spreading it equally between us. Because some places they spread out the tips equally, and then some places they just, well, that was the first time that happened where they was like just giving me the
Lucky
tips.
egg.
I had more tips probably like in the first 2 months at the floor instead of the other months when the full colors that I could. But they say the pool stays open all year round in Arizona, even when it's winter time, but they just keep it heated. I haven't had that experience with winter time and that steam that comes from the pool there in the winter time and stuff. I just went from 2014 over to 2026. Like talking about the spring water, fly fishing, that was Colorado. Arizona was a different state. I thought about going to Copper Mountain. I applied at Copper Mountain actually online before I ended up moving. I just couldn't. I think I applied at, it was called a Indo's Cafe when I was there, but now it's called 7 Mile Tavern. I applied there to be a business usher. So I don't know. I feel like I might have been meant for me to travel back to Copper Mountain. It's cool though. That was the last time I boarded. That's where I met. The first time I met people from Brazil was at Copper Mountain. And one happened to be a friend, his best friend with someone that is who at there who ended up coming here to work on it. I'm just sitting here and today we stepped out the store yet. I had what did I have for lunch or for breakfast today? It was I had it was like a ravioli, a spaghettios or something like that. A can of spaghettios and some sugar grape strawberry jam and peanut butter. No, that had peanut butter on that. Peanut butter don't sound good. Spaghettios with bread and jam. So I got like a loaf of bread, a Wycliffe. They have a nice church there, and they offered me they have food for the community that they give out twice a month. They give you like 5 bags of groceries, or if you have more than like 2 people in the household or 3 people in the household, they give out more bags of groceries. They gave a gift card there. I went there twice last month, or last before I got up here. And then last week I stopped by there. This is a real nice group of guys that they have. Each brings out a bag to the car. Or I was walking at the time because I don't have a vehicle. But if all of them brought out a bag of groceries and handed it to me to carry, so I was thankful for it and able to bring it over with me. I had a box of sugar cookies, but I was able to eat 2, then the whole box opened up and fell on the ground. And I had like 3 that was left in the box afterwards, but the rest of them I just tossed in the trash. And once they hit the ground, but he came out and handed me some other bags um, to carry my the groceries in. Then all of the bags busted open before I could make it like 6 blocks back to the destination. So it was a journey carrying groceries back or bringing them to the house I was at. And hopefully everybody can find some happiness and joy and love and stuff, like relationship wise, with their marriages or relationships. Like I was saying about her, I hope that this is the one that he chooses to marry. Because I had left out of the place there. He came back around a year later. I guess they fell back in love or something. Because there was like a lot of laughing and stuff I heard. Sounded like they were having good conversation. I feel like this is a year of marriage for people and them finding like happiness in locations that they live in. I think somebody might want to marry the Anastasia that I used to talk to, or used to date back in 2016, but said they want to go marry the real life version. They can probably get in contact with her online. So I know a couple of different Anastasias. Is there a voice detector on this thing? Alright, here's the dinosaur health right here. With the food stamp. I travel back to see I didn't sign the contract for it.
Ooh, Uno secret.
And I laughed too. You waved your little claw, I waved my back. My heart went thump, just like that.
You got that one quick.
Claw in claw, side by side, just happy to be alive. It's love, love, Dino love, big and bright inside my heart. It's love, love, Dino love.
I used to have the Fortnite map where they had the Demon Slayer spot on it too.
You smile, I smile too. If you fall, I help you through. It's pure love, soft
Anytime I go see a nice base, it just disappears off of the map.
I like you. We run across the
Like
field,
that instant disappearance on the map.
we can
I'll see if I can get into like not a Madden tournament, but like a Fortnite tournament or a Battlefield tournament.
If it rains, we dance around, splashing all the mud. When I'm with you, everything feels good. If the world feels big or new, I feel safe when I'm with you. It's love, love, Dino love, big and bright inside my heart. It's love, love, Dino love, right from the very start. If you smile, I smile too. If you fall, I help you through. It's pure love, soft and true. No big words, no big plans, just holding little hands. Care for you and you for me. That's how love should be. It's love, love, Dino love that doesn't know how to hide. It's love, love, Dino love, walking right by your side. If you stay, I'll stay too. If you dream, I dream with you. It's pure love, soft and true. I like you. You like me.
Game is lagging, so I'm gonna hop off here for a bit. PlayStation 5 is lagging. It's like shaking on the map here. I'm not sure if it makes the maps or stuff for the PlayStation. There's that one thing. Yeah, one thing I worked a job and as a dishwasher actually. We like ran out of hot water at the dish pit for like probably like 40 minutes or so. And it was like hard to get the with the dishes that go through because most of the meals probably had like butter on the plate, and the butter was so hard to like, wash off with the cold water when it went through the dishwater washer. So we had to wait until we had like, hot water back uh, in order to clean the dishes. I'll probably be out at bars taking videos and stuff this season. If I might see some people I know out, I say what's up and stuff. They say there's non-alcoholic drinks that have a non-alcoholic taste to it. I'll probably just drink a pop or a soda, and have some chips, and just sit there and chill. They have grape sodas at the. There's like this, not a coffee shop there, because there's a whole different. There's a smoothie shop that they have in Sandusky that has like the grape sodas and healthy sandwiches there. But yeah, I got a grape soda there one day and went out and sat by the lake and just relaxed there on the swinging chairs that they have out there. That's my ability, and that's like some. That's, I mean, I'm 34 now. It's just the Ohio thing, I guess, because when I was like a kid in Cleveland in like the fourth grade or third grade, that's probably like when I was like the third grade or fourth grade. But they wait till I get back to Ohio from other countries and do like this type of stuff here and try to say other people's lives. I like that being a couple and stuff. Well, when I was a kid in East Cleveland, over on Angeles and stuff, I thought I was dreaming during that time of like coming up with like a creation and stuff around that time back then, where like when that Patrick joined in. I'm not sure where the name Patrick came from because I mean I know his real parents and their last name wasn't Patrick, so it was like confusing to actually try to figure out where Patrick comes from. Somebody called me. They said something about Patrick at this army, and there was like a guy there because he was like in Tennessee. And he said he lost something. He lost something. Yeah, I worked on him at Phoenix Meadows. We played on the basketball court because I played basketball. I got to play basketball with a couple guys from Phoenix Meadows at the court there at the Union Hall UAW. Then, because they used to say something about how unions were different in the U.S., they had different laws and rules for unions. So they turned the battery plant into a union. But we made batteries for the electric Hummers that's here in Ohio, and for the electric cars that they have here in Ohio. For electric cars, for Hummers or the electric Hummers or like the more cars that I made batteries for as a Tennessee. But they have a Ohio plant here that's called Team Cells Battery Plant, and then most of the workers come from Korea, South Korea to upgrade the systems and work uh, as juniors in the U.S. Because the guy from South Korea, the ones I work with, told me that they have to enlist in the military when they all turn like 18 and stuff in their country, so they are considered juniors in South Korea. And then they come here to the U.S. and I think he said they made like $7 an hour or $8 an hour, and the Americans they made like 20 or something an hour. But they get free housing and free groceries throughout their time in the U.S. And they spoke English, so I feel like I got to be cool with a couple other guys, but I just was not allowed to add them on social media because other countries have their own laws when it comes to social media, like Instagram and Facebook and stuff. So I wasn't able to be friends with them on social media. But I got to sit outside with them one day outside of work at our city limits. They stayed in the same gated apartment complexes as I did. But they were just super smart with the electronics and updating, upgrading the systems at Artem Shell's battery plant. And I went back into Artem Shell's battery plant after like before I left, I had walked inside of the door there and said hi or something. I turned the badge in or something that they gave me. In Tennessee, one night it was somebody from New York, and it was like the websites or it was like a or something. But this is Ohio. I guess I went out to a bar there and played pool a couple times. This is Ohio. But I mean, was it my idea to give me the choice, the option to create something back then in Cleveland? I know it's like a lot of crows and ravens flying back then. It sounds like they're going to the New Orleans part of it. So I forget what they call it in New Orleans. Wait till I get to Ohio to do stuff is like absurd. It's wild to me. I'll be outside of the state after 6 months is up and I'll be in a different destination. But one day I feel like this stuff will be coming because I mean I can't help the way I was born into the earth. That's when I realized like how Hawaii was a U.S. territory and something about they said that how the island floats over water and then other countries are like separate from the U.S. and they float over water too. They'll travel 5,000 miles to get to a different place that float over water. And that's like seeing the difference in it. Yeah, they were saying we'll see. There's only one, and there's this one guy that goes around with his ring going and stuff. Like does this thing, but I'm a Christian man, so I believe it's like Christian. I got baptized twice, once when I was a kid, and then once in Arizona at a later time in life when I was like 3 years, 4 years ago when I first went to Arizona because I met someone kind of randomly online. I think it was like Facebook or something. And then we talked for a bit before I traveled there. I met some other people. from around the time because I was deciding if I wanted to go to North Dakota or if I wanted to travel to Michigan because I met one from Michigan here. She stopped responding for some reason on social media. My social media did this crazy thing. So I ended up buying a plane ticket to Arizona. Then I bought a plane ticket. I canceled the plane ticket and bought a Greyhound ticket because I just wanted to take the experience of riding on the bus through all the different states to get there. I met some guys from Chicago that came from meeting with some executives for music from Atlanta on the bus, and they gave me like their information. Stopped at the Greyhound in Indianapolis and seeing how they ran things there. The Indianapolis Greyhound station was like more kind of like the Cleveland one, but the guys there had their own little setup at the station. And didn't really mess around. But one of them came and sat down next to me and talked, and somebody had the phone stolen. And then the police officer in Sandusky said something about the guy that stole like 6 or 7 phones and turned them in to him. But he ended up stealing my phone at a shelter there. Some other guy, I guess, talked him into doing it from Detroit. That's why I wasn't sure what the Detroit guys had against me. They came with that, the video footage, even though they showed me the video footage for the officer got there if we took it because it was clear as day. He had a cover over his head and walked over to the chair where it was plugged up at on the charger and just put it in his pocket. And then I was like, she said I had to go make a report about it because she was, even though they see me on the video, she wasn't supposed to show me. So then I had made the report and he was able to locate him and then told me about the 7 other phones the guy had told me about. And then had me with the iPhone back. Yeah, I haven't even heard this stuff, anything about any of the other stuff since I was probably separated from my brother and sister because I wasn't like with them in real life. So I'm not even sure. Around that time I was in the foster care and the adopted home, whatever that was. I probably was like in the 11 or something, 12 in the fifth, 4th grade or 5th grade. She said we had shared rooms, but having was like not having all of them. That's like when I used to think of ideas on the school bus on the way to school about helping out the community in Cleveland, stuff like around that time. And then other people put those ideas into like, I guess, or like a West Coast rapper put some. He probably had the same idea when he was a kid to help out his community, but he helped out the community, real life in California. And that happened probably like 4 years ago. I was in Tennessee about going to a Dollar General, spending like $100 on folders and school supplies and taking it to a school in the like in a neighborhood to give to. Because there was a boxer, Javante Davis. He went and the next weekend went and helped out projects and stuff in different neighborhoods in real life. He helped out projects in different neighborhoods. I think he might be. If people say something when I say something about like the there's a Muslim faith, I think he might be like Muslim faith or but he wouldn't help out the community in like real life. But then I ended up putting an ad on Facebook about um, I guess somebody else has some type of experience or was given something, said they wasn't given it back. stuff. But I ended up going on Facebook, putting an ad on there for the foster care home I went through in Belford and Cleveland, Ohio. Belford Jewish. I forget the name of it, but it's Belford Jewish Center. That was like the program I had. We had meetings at night, which would take in the basement. I was in foster care. That was the first place I gave a fingerprint to besides Ukraine. But I ended up taking it off for GoFundMe. I gave a donation to it, and I ended up writing a check out to the library of the neighborhood, East 91st, 71st Street or something in Cleveland. And I took the check to the library there on the corner of where I grew up at in Cleveland before I traveled. But before I even took that plane flight, I felt like I had heat through my body before my flight went. And I just sat there. It's like I got off work, I sat there in my apartment, felt that heat get put through my body. And I just had to sit there and just feel the heat get put through me before I traveled to Cleveland. Because they said something about somebody hopping on the fence. Because that's when we used to walk to the second of open. And you jumped on the fence. We went running from some dogs and don't run on the corner to be jumped on the fence to get away from the dogs. But they put heat in my body right before that happened. Before that flight, I sat next to a guy on the plane, and he had like this roll or something that he poured the shirt down on the plane flight. Yeah, right now my views are just on the game. Nobody really listening besides the extra spiritual or life stuff that goes on. I guess the whole earth is more spiritual than it was before. Some people say it has to be like their experience in order for it to be. I guess I'm feeling like a pastor. I take a breath, speaking and talking and stuff. But they say it's like the human reaction to breathe and talk. What's the human experience, or what's the human reaction to have in your life? I'm not quite sure. I'm just speaking on. Sorry, if there's anybody listening. I'm just speaking on this broadcast here, streaming on YouTube. I mean, ours is like it's somebody else living in their real life still, or how does this work here? Is this the afterlife part of it? I'm able to play with PlayStation 5 and stuff like that. Or is this just the spiritual life part of it? Because I was like never into the walk, and besides like 1 second in Arizona or something across the sky at nighttime. This is the person who I was talking about is me. I stayed with her mom for a month there. Then her roommate seemed like he was like an actor for Star Wars because he had like the same eyes as the guy on the cover of the Star Wars. But yeah, I can't think of his name. One night it was like something that got shot out the sky or something there in Arizona. Well, went across the sky. And she told me to go step outside to. Somebody just put up the fidget spinner. She told me to go step outside to go check it out. And I was like, dang, it was like something crazy about the sky. But the fidget spinner, that was on the Prince episode. He was giving a tour of his mansion. He was talking to the singer from Spice, I believe it probably was.
What is your base? Not even there.
Yeah, in Arizona, there was a guy I worked with called Mike or something. I thought he got married to like Serena or something. Yeah, they just do all type of stuff here in Ohio, even though he did go with me, the bread stuff and stuff. Because there's other people telling me and they said that she shouldn't have gave stuff too. this is like that shit. Minnesota, this is Minnesota. That song, I forgot the name of that rapper, but the Minnesota song. Because I think somebody might have thought I was from Minnesota, because in Colorado, he said that his best friend
Come over here.
lived in
Come over
Minnesota.
here.
I think it was like the rapper, but he's still alive.
I'll give you.
That was like his, well, he lost a best friend in Minnesota or something. But that was like Copper. We had conversations. We used to sit there and watch the Wayans brothers and dust the car out the snow, and slept in the car outside in the cold, and park in the garage, and I had to go in the bathroom and like use the wipes and stuff to wipe our face because we were considered to be homeless at the time. Because he said we had the job before we went and got there, and then I was talking to somebody named Lisa at the time who was probably like a Thai or something. But she was telling me, trying to talk me into not going traveling with him to go to Copper
Yeah, you want to
before
do
we
this?
left. But then I ended up going to Copper Mountain. I had some detectives show up at the door one day and asked questions if he was at work, he was at work and stuff. Yeah, they still in my dino shop, my case right now. I still on that Eve, still on this shirt called the Yeah, they just saw it to that dude. I went through like the whole spray machine this here the first week in Woodcliff during the night time, but they won't allow me to post the video on YouTube, or I was able to finally post it on YouTube. But if I can make a difference on what I on the page that night in Cleveland, I might put their like sense in suggestions in what they said it should be. Because it's like I was like in a bigger room, and then there was like some other people around me. I was speaking during that time. And they said something about like traveling through electronics and stuff. Then here in 2026, people know stuff and mentioning that they Nigerian and stuff, but I don't really care about that. Like trying to say, random guy saying he's Nigerian and showing me my phone and stuff ahead of time. So, but there was just a whole lot of different stuff. She was like spinning this stuff around me, saying anything in front of me, and said that he lost everything, but he still has something to go back to as a black business owner. And I was at the crossroads, where there's for homeless shelters, but people got released from jail. But he was only there for like 2 days and then showed back up, so I'm not sure what happened to him. Yeah, they said something about wanting to travel and have relationships with like celebrities and stuff as a regular celebrity. Because there was a guy we became friends at Cedar Point because they didn't want me to meet him at Cedar Point either. I met a woman from Texas and she was like trying to keep me from going there to Cedar Point because that was the first time I met him was at Cedar Point. She didn't want me to meet him at Cedar Point, I guess. I need to stay in the Cleveland part of it. I ended up going to Cedar Point, meeting him at Cedar Point, and he's working at Fitness Davis. And then he had a cousin, Lexi Pantera, who's a famous, she was more famous for like her dance skills and stuff on social media back then. And I thought I seen him as the trainer for the Mexican boxer when they did a video shoot together. He just beat the one boxer one title. I seen him like as in that video.
Nice.
As the boxing guy back then. I don't know if here's they just
Hey,
focus on
what
stuff,
Jurassic?
but I personally believe I wasn't able to celebrate Halloween after I had a best friend.
You go to Jurassic.
I used to go over to his place and she told me to celebrate Halloween because I was Christian. And then they had me dig my face in the mud on Halloween during the football practice game. just get me upset. So I seen somebody ask that question how I blew right through a center because people like that, they feel like to go back and look, try to figure out how I had the speed to go right through the center and push me to the quarterback is because they put the anger inside of me with the mud. I guess it was. Yeah, and I just went right through the center right as soon as the ball lifted an inch off of the ground. Flew right through the center as a nose guard. That's why I like playing on the line, with the defensive line, offensive line. I'm small, but I feel like I have the power to just push through. Just imagine when I was like 185 driving down the lane. That's why like, my favorite position was like nose guard in that range. Have that speed to push through. Yeah, whenever I had that experience in Tennessee, there was like people that showed up at the UAW with their game systems and they had like a celebration and stuff. That's I like the defensive line and nose guard position. That's where that move happened. That was like the nose guard position. And then the coaches just stayed in the circle and talked and stuff. I guess now we do is only do something different. I played for the politics for the they still have that thing going on, but they built up the football fields. Whoever did that one did a good job. But they updated the fields and they play some more different now. So I walked around the neighborhood when I went there before last year. So I told my grandmother I was going back to the neighborhood. She just told me to be safe and stuff. And I ended up walking over to the neighborhood and did a walk around. Went over to the old fields where I used to play at, where I started playing football at. I went to the rec center there. It was ice skating. And that's where I met that's like where I had, it seemed like my first girlfriend. I was like at the skating. I had basketball tryouts there, but for the basketball tryouts, they put me on the bench in the first 5 minutes of the tryouts. Because I guess the way I was moving around the court there. So I didn't have that actual tryout. And then that's when a guy had got off the bus and had told us to empty out our pockets and try to ride using the walk home. It was after my basketball tryouts. So I think the name of the team was probably like the Panthers or something. It was a private school, Christian school. And then we had played it was a Christian school. And then somebody else was trying to go over position. It was like a Christian school. The name of our team was the Panthers. But they didn't like my skills in basketball. Because they looked at me differently. I heard somebody say that before when I was in Atlanta. Because he took like a trip from my church. We would take a trip to Atlanta. I told somebody that I was from Atlanta. But I just traveled there a lot for his trips. He kind of looked like he was related to colonies and stuff. But that's when I met people that was related to Panthers. They had Cadillacs and stuff. That's what I'm confusing. It's just like people that look like they were dying in rich. There was a shorter guy, but he had like the same facial features.
I got it.
Yeah, my name of the team was Memphis, but yeah, one day I ran around the court, I had the headband on, the armbands on, like I was from the 2000s, or like early 1990s, and I ran out to a basketball court, and it was like this big, I ran out here like a crackhead and stuff, but I was just excited to go out there and play and be a part of the sports out there. Yeah, that was just the style that I had. Everything was headbands and
It's not working.
I seen another one that I know being listed who was I was more hanging with the more 2000s guy. Didn't really respond to me, especially the first time. I guess he has more style than I do. His style was like, my style was like, that's like the style that I was wearing. It was like, he learned himself on the hip. It was just like, yeah, take and stuff down and stuff like that. I'm not even sure that I had asked me. I have to get in there, check everything. I had to check them. If they had me in the system over in the St. School, I'll go get a physical done and see how my skills are. Usually when I step into the hospital, they switch out. So it's like the diagnosis is probably different. Besides like the blood pressure. Because when I had the blood pressure, when somebody at the gym, I used to go to the gym with you, like getting the sugar, the blood sugar. I had the blood pressure when she had the blood sugar. She had started going to the gym after I went there, but they ended up coming back from the gym, and she came back from wherever she moved to after before I moved away from her. And it's like, I guess people still using it if they can post on in case we can find them sometime. My sister, she was mad before about me putting sorry about how you on a piece of paper because she seemed like she was disturbed. Or I asked her a question or something, so I just wrote myself out, that night. And I think they made that into the Wi-Fi or something. So I guess she, it was just like that. I didn't realize it was a piece of paper or something. I try not to deal with that stuff and really just keep distance. Besides, assertive like a person is not like the same besides the mental regard. Most schools are actually basketball for actual defense. So you guys watch out when it comes to sports. I keep my distance in the real world. I don't say that type of stuff. Just let other people enjoy lives and find out the moment. And mine will get back going eventually. Mine will get back going eventually. It's like year 34 is more of a time where I guess they used to say something about year 33 is like just what it is, maybe. Post about being 33, but that's when I was 33, before last year, 2 years ago, so it's so crazy how the years pass by. I was 33 2 years ago. So I guess it's just the year where they come up with it. In their age group. For the 5K this for last year for my group, I guess I'm at the high age for the 30 for my age this year. But yeah, last year I found out when I traveled up here that I had lost the same because I had no like before I moved to the island. My first season, I had got someone pregnant up there. She told me that she lost it. I got her some biscuit last year. After some biscuit. She's away from other people. I met like black riders and stays over by the island. I've seen her like in person. That's only made up about having one and stuff. She had a lot of just invested to the afterwards. I guess she's a local. She's definitely a local. She's a local. I guess they do it by county here. Really. I had to Cuyahoga for food stamps when I went to apply for food stamps. I had to do it into and she shredded the paper. So I had to go to Cuyahoga to apply. And I thought it was like a state thing when it came to food stamps, but you can use them in other parts of the state. Just have to apply for them in a certain county. There's Ohio wage stamps. Oh yeah, that was when we was at the office yesterday. So I had a few years ago since I was 33, 2 years ago. So these years go by, and I was thinking it was like the 20 years high school reunion is almost coming up. I graduated a year before I did. He said he's 2 years younger than me. 3 years younger than me. He graduated a year before I did. Still in school. I guess somebody said because I'm still breathing in the real like the oven didn't really take me out that much, so they just put it on the top. I still have like real breath in the body and oxygen in the heart rate, so if somebody's just trying to push it too hard for me to that's how I'm able to like run up and down the court because they take my blood pressure level and go check in the hospital. When I was the one that I was at the building. She has a paint on the wall at the Sandusky hospital, and I guess she was like there with the guy, the first black guy to drink out of a white water fountain. That's like what that. That's what I seen in that picture on the wall. So I felt like she has some special connection towards the Sandusky County or something. That's what I got from the road from the house. So I got to be there with her in person at the city. The guy from Detroit, he's probably not talking gaming system like I have here. But he left after he figured out some stuff. Because there's like stuff going on during the night time that was recorded and stuff there at the crossroads there. He left and got back to like being regular sleep. I think they took a record of what was going on during the night time. A woman had a seizure there too. At the Sandusky Center there. I think I had like another place so to stay there for a while. But, In real life, she told me I had 2 days to live. In real life, she said I was at my days to leave because I didn't have a real life from the job or check from the job. So I made my way back to the what work life is. I guess Easter, downtown Cleveland, 40 minutes, 30-minute drive. There's that I made some fried bologna I did because I used to do like the quickest meal. But I fried bologna on a skillet and some butter. I still didn't know like the recipe for it. That was like one of my favorite. It was just some herb. But it wasn't as bad as this meat I tried in Poland. There was like a Polish dish that had pickles in it. And there was like a sausage that had the sausage covering on it. But it had different types of meat in it. And then one day it was liver. But I was just thankful for the free breakfast meal that I had at the center that I was at before I met up with the embassy. Because they considered me to be a refugee. I was at a refugee building. And the guy spoke to me there. He went to different positions. And then they sent me as a refugee. Got me connected to the embassy and everything. I was able to get it back to America. Even though I was told that a refugee means something different. I mean, I traveled there from Ukraine, wars. Yeah, I'll probably go get a checkup done. I got a couple dollars. I can probably take the ferry over and go get a checkup done and some blood work done. I had blood work done twice in Arizona. I gave blood once and they said it helped 3 people at a donation. So I think my blood type is B positive or something. But they said it helped 3 people who need like their blood and transfusions and stuff that they get. So somebody else is getting my blood is going to be able to help somebody else. So that's like a good thing. It's like the Red Cross or something. This so high, this has a different so like hit the anchor and locked in. On my bucket list, I would probably like to go to Ohio State this game. I've never been to an actual college football game in real life and other stuff. I go and see like the atmosphere of the fans and stuff. I went to a TSU drumline event in Nashville. I think of his name. What's your name? He goes to church with me, but I went to like a TSU event. Done TSU versus another school. Like the all-white school. The all-white school. I like somebody just cut my hair. I'd always prefer like someone else listen to me. It's like I'm doing this. I think I haven't done the rest of them before. But this isn't the rest. I'm just sitting here with me. Mattress that I was looking for. This is soft mattress too. I usually memory phone. I'll probably get a memory phone one day, but I just take no memory.
Lucky egg.
I took myself out to eat for my last birthday. And got a, it's kind of like the steak came out kind of a little bit greasier side and a little bit thinner. But I still ate it because I had paid the money for it. But that was like my birthday treat to myself. And that was the first time that I ate meat after being like a vegan for over a year for around less than married to like without dairy and stuff. But she was probably somebody different, so I went to my dairy products. But that was just something I did because she said she stopped eating dairy and stuff, so I had to stop eating dairy stuff to like the dairy free stuff. Yeah, I took myself out to eat and I seen no actor from Everybody Loves Raymond that was across the table from me. She was just there enjoying her meal and like her personal van and trying not to disturb her other people. I seen her. I was just there for my birthday and to enjoy a steak. And I just wanted to taste a good steak. I thought it would be like one of the bigger steaks. I still think it's a really good greasy. Like that medium rare peppers. I had it on my birthday. I just wanted like the medium rare, or like the bigger cut ones. But that was like my weekend. I can see eating meat until after the night they had food on the Friday night at the gym. I seen them eat like and stuff. And I was like, maybe I'll get back into eating. So back to eating meat afterwards. So I can like go back to eating like favorite stuff. Yeah, it was not just alcohol for just to the drink stuff. That's real. I went back to the church out here like that, Tennessee, for a service there. I went to a church in Thompson Station and I like food shop from the church and stuff. I tried to go to a blood donation place when I was in Wycliffe. That's in Willoughby. They have one in Willoughby by a temp agency there. I was wondering why I couldn't get a job, even though I went through temp agencies, or I guess it had something to do with my cell phone device. Like getting a response back on it, but I showed up there in person and was able to fill out the information, update my resume, work in person. So I guess it just has to do with like the newer way I've been able to communicate myself and to the foreign information. Yeah, I'll probably head up to the hospital one day to go check up again. This is my first time as not too late in Ohio since I had my name. I'm a new person. My first time on the island as ever being Beyonce lead. So it's like confused. Nobody ever named me who has Beyonce lead besides Ivan. And all that shit. Because that's my food stamp card. So besides that, I was never known as Brian but everybody here knew me as Cannon. Like my last name was Cannon. That's where all my paperwork's at. That's why I was on the schedule. That's what I signed my name. That's for businesses I work for. And I have to write me checks to say can. So how do things work like when somebody else changes their name like the real life and stuff? But, I mean, I have my birth name always in this name since I was like when I was this. It's like Xerox protection for me here. And other stuff like that, and like other people get in trouble. So that's the answer way I never really gone to. I tell other people, black people, even when I was in school. I just can't just not about that too.